I would say yes and no. I'd lean more towards a no, but the yes would be because if you cannot take rejection, whew, it is not for the weak. If you can't take rejection, then it's going to be hard.
Hi guys, how are you doing today? How is everything going? I hope you're well because I'm well. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Benita, and if you're a returning subscriber, all the love in the world. So today we're going to listen to different women telling us their experiences dating as a virgin. So there's some people that believe that they're not virgins in the world again. If a grown woman tells you I'm a virgin, you find it hard to believe, So I want to tell you that virgins exist. There are women up to 30, 27, 28, 26, 25, 24 that are virgins, and some of them are here to share their experiences, especially their dating experiences as a virgin. So I hope you enjoy some of these experiences, and if you're one, you can also share in the comments. If you were one till you got married, you can also share in the comments, and as a guy, if you were with one, you can share your experiences in the comments.
I would say yes and no. I'd lean more towards a no, but the yes would be because if you cannot take rejection, whew, it is not for the weak. If you can't take rejection, then it's going to be hard. There's definitely this notion pushed in society that if you find a virgin, keep one. Like, oh my God, they're so rare and it's special. But there's more that comes to life than that. So I find men put me on a pedestal really quickly and they think they're in love with me. It's not funny, but it is to watch people try and make you fit into their idea. It's like what I said in the first video about how I didn't have a mind of my own. If you see it with men who want to date you, where they lose their own mind of what they want and they try and make you fit. And then that can be hard if you can't take rejection well, because the times where I used to think, oh my God, this person's going to be my husband, they invest so much time trying to convince themselves that you are it for them, you're their dream girl, that you invest energy as well. So you get oh my God, yay, we're around the corner from marriage and a big, great relationship. And then they realize you don't do it for them. And it fizzles out. But once you learn to be able to accept rejection and understand that you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, it gets easier. But other than that, no, it's absolutely amazing because you get to fizzle out all of the time wasters. You just see things so much clearer. You don't really have to waste time. People aren't really put off from dating you. There's probably out of 100%, there'd probably be 5% who straight away would hear you're a virgin and be like, oh no, I'm not going on a date. Out of the rest of them, there's going to be at least 45% who are not intending on waiting but think you're playing. So they're going to still want to date you. And then there's a 50% of men who just will want to date you, get to know you, wonder if they can do it. Out of them, there's probably 5% that you're feeling back. And then you just get to decide okay, do we align? Do we not align? And because sex is not on the table, you get to really get to know each other. You get to know people so well. It's like research, honestly. You get to know the ins and outs of how people behave, body language, the way people speak, what people say without saying it. Reading between the lines is fun. And for me, anyway, I'm a super nerd. So yeah, it's cool.
Okay, so this is such a great question, and I filmed that video when I was 23. Now I'm 25, and I'm 25 and still a virgin. So let's get into it. Does the guy have to also be a virgin in order for me to marry them or whatever? Let's get into that. Now, the question you asked was, does he have to upkeep that same standard? Now, when it comes to standards, the standards is the same, right? We both have to be waiting for marriage. That's just a non-negotiable. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't come with the past. And if he does come with the past, all of that is covered under the blood of Jesus, as long as now he's operating in purity. Now, if he is a virgin, that's also great, because I think it's so important for young men and men in general to know that saving themselves and keeping themselves is such a beautiful thing. And I'm telling y'all, it's so attractive. It's not like anything lame. It's so attractive when a man can do that. I just want to let y'all know it's not lame. It's actually like really, really cool. So if he is a virgin, I just think that's also beautiful as well. So either or, you know, like I wouldn't limit God and say this is the only thing. I know some people do that. They say they only want to marry like a virgin or whatever. Some people even say they don't. It's personal, right? It's up to what people believe. But I personally believe that as long as we are on the same page in this moment, that we are saving ourselves for marriage as an individual, and then when we come together we can also save ourselves and have boundaries. I think that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
I was a virgin when I got married, and I was almost 29 years old. This video is not to tell you what to do or to shame you in any way. This is just my personal experience, and I wanted to share it with you. I did not make this decision based on religion or religious beliefs. It was just something that I wanted to do for myself. Throughout my life, I had probably about 90% of my friends that decided not to wait. And when that relationship didn't work out, they were so heartbroken, completely devastated. I had kind of taken from what they had experienced for myself and just went, I really only want to experience this with one person. When I had made this decision, I felt like it was God saying, hey, this is what is best for you and your life experience. I am the type of person that attaches themselves to people very easily. And I just knew, and I know that God knew from the moment that He created me and from throughout my journey and experience with this, it was, you can, but I knew that if it didn't work out, that I would be depressed and devastated. And I didn't want that for myself. And of course it was difficult. There were times when I didn't think Danny and I would make it, because we're humans. I do not regret that decision that Danny and I made together at all. Don't get me wrong, I know that there are people out there that have had horrible experiences with this decision, and so I'm not even saying this is the best for everybody. I'm saying this is what was best for my husband and I when we made this decision together. And like I said, I know that people have not had the best experience with this. There has been a little bit of shift in culture in terms of if you're waiting. I've noticed that people have a lot more shame for waiting versus the opposite. Do what's best for you and your body and your mental and emotional health. I have nothing bad to say about it. My husband and I have a healthy marriage, a baby on the way. I do think that there's a lot of bad aspects about purity culture. It tends to be stemmed in a spirit of religion and shame, and I do not agree with that. But I also don't agree with having the opposite of shaming somebody for waiting. So, if you want to do it, do it. I had the best experience. If you don't.
I was a virgin all the way up until marriage.
Oh,
I
wow.
already knew, like,
You already
when I was
knew.
16, I was like,
Wow.
I'm making this decision. I had a whole little ceremony and everything. I had a little chastity ring.
So
I was like, I'm going to
sweet.
save myself until marriage, and I made the vow. I knew myself enough to know, like, or maybe my mom knew myself enough to know, because she told me when I was that age, like maybe like 15 or 16, she's like, you know, we talk about sex and all the things. And she's like, every time you have sex with someone, you're giving a piece of yourself to them.
Yeah.
And then you will never fully be able to give all of yourself to your husband. And how beautiful would that be, that you would be able to give your whole self in all its entirety to your husband? And I just like locked in on that.
incredible.
Something about that, because you hear about it in church and all the
Yeah,
Christian
yeah.
ways. But when she broke it down to me like that, I was like, well, shoot, like if that's the way to do it, I need to do it that way. So
No, for real. You saved yourself a
I mean,
lot of
like,
heartbreak and stress.
I was able to, like, I feel like that can sometimes blanket a relationship. It can be like this like tie that you don't even know, especially with women. We don't realize that that connection is chemical. It's literally scientific that you are connecting with this person. So it can be hard to leave a situation that you can't even see that it's not for you because you have this bond with them. So you're like, oh no, I love him. No, you love that
Listen.
and you're digmatized. But I'm not like pooping on anybody who like doesn't do that. But I was just like, this is my decision, and I'm glad I found the person who was willing to put in the work to be a husband.